Hey, what's up, everyone? I am your boy, Charlie, your host of the Inner Circle podcast. Welcome to the show. Here we are. I'm so excited to be here, first of all, because I am coming to you guys live from London, the UK. And I'm so excited. I'm doing this alone today. I'm doing this alone. As you see, I don't have my best girlfriend with me. Obviously, the time difference makes it a little crazy, and you know, all that good stuff. But we'll be back together next week. So make sure you tune in for that. We'll definitely be cutting up and talking about my experience and our week away from each other. But I am here with you guys today. Wanted to give you guys an episode. You know how we do. We don't miss a beat no matter where we at. And here we are. I could say we're doing a show from London. And as you guys know, I came over here for my birthday. Every year I have to go somewhere. That's one of the things I love doing every year for my birthday. It's going somewhere. And I've been fortunate enough the last few years to just travel to some amazing places. Last year, as you guys know, I was in Spain. I went to Spain and I went to Paris. This year, the year before that was Puerto Vallarta. And just when I think like, how are these birthdays going to be topped? How am I going to pull this off? We do it. And I'm amazed by how it all works out and comes together. So yesterday was my actual birthday. I had an amazing time. I went to, I keep butchering it. I want to say Amazonia, but let me see the exact name for anyone who's interested. Amazonico in London, which was top notch. The ambiance was amazing. It was such a beautiful ambiance. Very top notch, very shishi, if you know what I mean. Ritzy. But I got to get dressed up, and it was an amazing time. I definitely enjoyed it, and did so much. Honestly, on the Inner Circle page, we did a poll of what I should go see, the Big Ben, the London Eye, and all that stuff. And the biggest, I think the one that got the biggest, the majority of vote was Buckingham Palace. But fortunately for you guys, if you follow us on the Inner Circle page on our Instagram, fortunately for you guys, I hit all the spots. I hit the Big Ben, I hit the London Eye. I had a few spots, so it was a great show. It was a great day, and I brought all the places I wanted to see. Go to our Instagram on the Inner Circle page and definitely check it out. And of course, we'll be bringing you more content. But I'm excited to be doing this show. London has always been in my top five for the people that don't know since I was 12. So, like I said a few weeks ago, it's like manifesting this. It's like, all the places that I've dreamed of since I was a little kid is like coming true. Last year, like I said, Paris, that was in my top five, Spain, top five, London. So I've knocked out three of my top fives out of the way. So when you manifest it and you believe and you do it, like it could really come true. So everyone out there who has the goals, who has places that they really want to go to, believe in it, manifest it, work on it, put the actions towards it, and you could definitely make it happen. People, you could definitely make it happen. But what else did I want to do? So far, my birthday was great. So far, everything's been going pretty dope and pretty good. What else did I wanted to say? So it's a few things actually that I'm noticing since being over here. Good thing though, over here obviously they speak English. But one of the great things, one of the differences that we see, and I actually was um talking about this with my boys, the different things with the name. So the lift, I thought lift was like Lyft like we have in the United States, right? Like the Uber counterpart. But Lyft over here is basically the elevator. So we call it the elevator um, in the States. And over there, we call it an elevator in the States, and over here they call it a lift. Another thing that is fun, especially for us New Yorkers that have trains and stuff in the states, people have states that have trains. We call it obviously the train. We obviously call our system the MTA subway. When we go into the subway, take the subway, this, or that. Over here, they call it the underground. So instead of the subway, they call it the underground. And instead of a train, they call it a tube. So, I know some people thought, we'll either say train or the metro, which I thought they did call it the metro over here, but apparently now they call it the tube. So those are some interesting things, wording wise, are different. Even stroller. So you know how we have, over there strollers where you push the babies. They call it push car over here. So some interesting wording and like difference that we have from states that we use and here, that I found interesting. But so far so good. The food is a little different. They love their beans over here. They love sausages over here as well. An eclectic array of foods that you could find over here, but it's still definitely different. And I was told, even Melanie had told me, like, oh, get prepared because the food may be a little different and stuff. But I'm open minded. I like to try things, different things, so I don't mind. But definitely, I could tell that there is a little difference in their food. I haven't done tea time yet. I heard tea time is very big over here, but I haven't done that. But so far, a lot of sightseeing, walking around, just taking everything in. It just feels very good to be here, just in general. And again, something that's always been in my top five to do. So I've always loved since I was little, and obviously I'm repping this shirt. UK acts, you know what I mean? I remember my best friend Fernando. Like us growing up made fun of me because I always loved UK acts, and he was like, "Oh yeah," he called them Disney acts. I don't know why he would correlate UK acts with Disney acts, maybe because they were pop girls or whatever. But I really always enjoyed UK acts, even being a US boy. And actually, I compiled my top five UK favorite acts. And I know it may be some people will be like, really? Out of all the great UK artists and stuff, but obviously remember my musical taste, my musical preference, and also the era and generation I was born into. So don't hate me if my top five UK acts is not what matches up to yours. But here we go. Number five, I have to start it with, it was hard, and I'll have some notable mentions afterwards. But the Saturdays, although they're no longer a girl group, but this was a group that compiled of five girls. And luckily enough, they tried to break into the US where they did a little mini small promotional tour in the US. And I got to see them with Melanie back in New York back in like 2013, I want to say. So it was cool to see them. Obviously, they're no longer together right now, but they were definitely a band I was hooked on for a while and always looking for, and follow up with their new releases. At number four, my UK favorite acts, I have Zayn Malik from One Direction. Now, some people may be like, why not One Direction? Well, let's be honest, I never really got into One Direction as a whole, but as soon as the first member left, which is Zayn, I definitely got into him. I got into him. I loved his first album. He doesn't get enough of the credit of maybe I like the Harry Styles and stuff, but for obvious reasons, Zayn is he's talked about his anxiety, putting himself out there and going on tour and all that stuff. So I guess he's one of those that just releases the music while we have the Harry Styles who don't mind being everywhere. But Zayn, I love his first album. Again, Immaculate is a great first debut album, especially for someone who left a boy band. Um, he hit it off the park with that first album, Mind of Mine, if you haven't listened to it. And he's released a couple of albums after that. Not too bad. I mean, Mind of Mine is still a favorite of mine. It's his best work still, in my opinion. But love Zayn and love his music, love his voice, love his artistry. Number three, I have Girls Aloud. Now, unfortunately, as we know, we've lost one of the members of Girls Aloud a few years ago. Um, but they were one of the biggest UK girl bands, and I lived for them. Even living in the States, I always looked them up, was excited when they released stuff. So Girls Aloud lands at number three for me. And now number two, you see, you guys seen the pattern here. Number two, we have Little Mix, which, what can I say? They took a break. They disbanded for a little bit. Obviously, we have Perry, who became a mom, Leanne, who became a mom. Leanne dropped a few solo singles last year. So we know all the girls are gonna do their thing. You know, when you come from a group, you know eventually it's gonna end or stop for a little bit. Everyone is individuals, obviously, and want to do their own thing. So Little Mix is doing their pause, but Little Mix is also a huge, huge act. And I'm proud to say that I've put some people on in the US onto Little Mix. There were people who didn't know about Little Mix in the US, and I put them on some of their songs. So that makes me a little proud because they deserve it. They definitely talented, great vocals, and they definitely did their thing well together. And at number one, if you guys didn't guess, my favorite UK actor of all time, the Spice Girls. Listen, the obsession started. My introduction of knowing about London and all that stuff was the Spice Girls. I was like 10 years old when I was first heard about the Spice Girls in the United States. This was the year I actually moved to the States from Puerto Rico. And the year had to be, it was what, 97? Although they already, 96, 97, one of those 2 years. It was April. And that year, I remember just hearing the Spice Girls Wannabe. And from there on, it was like, they were my first big musical obsession. Like, if you think I'm crazy about Britney Spears, if you think I'm crazy about Bad Bunny, the Spice Girls were the first ones. And of course, they've been from the UK. I had everything Spice Girls, watch everything down, and just seen a lot of them being in the UK. So I always told myself, because of the Spice Girls, I have to go to London. I want to go to London. So here I am, the story in the full circle. Today, been repping the Spice Girls, the Chicas Picantes shirt today, all around London. So those are my top five favorite acts. I know some people be like, wow, there's so many other great people. I would have included Kylie Minogue, but technically Kylie Minogue is from Australia, although she's very huge over here in London. Okay, but you know, technically she's an Australian act who has crossed and made the market, I guess, in the UK. Who else? Let's say Kylie Minogue, uh, Adele. I love Adele. Some people will say Sam Smith, but you know, I like Sam Smith, especially when he came out. But as of late, you know, some of his stuff, I like some of his stuff, but I'm not crazy over him like that. Talented guy. But Adele also a notable mention. I love listen George Michael, but my top five was people that like I look for, even living in the US, I will look them up. When's their next album? When's their next single? Or if they dropped a new video, or are they working on new material? These top five acts are those acts for me. So, um, love sharing my top five UK acts with you guys. And I'm here for a few more days. I'm excited. I don't know how I'm going to go back to work after being off for what's going to be 2 weeks, but exciting time, loving the London experience. It is a little chilly. I want to say cold. It's still considered winter over here, but I have to say the cold is not like frigid cold like a New York. Although we haven't had a bad New York winter this past year, but I feel like the cold is not horrible. It's not, it's tolerable. You don't need like a big jacket. So not too bad of weather wise. Yes, cloudy. Yesterday I was thankful that my birthday the sun did come out. But the London experience is cool so far. Over here, people are way more polite, especially me coming from New York, living in New York. I could say so myself and say that over here, they're definitely way more polite when it comes to just helping you, even in the streets. Like they'll ask you, I guess we stand out like tourists, like you guys need help. So it's very cool to see that. Way more polite, way more helpful. The people here. Um, it's just going to bars, let's say, or pubs and stuff, and certain restaurants. You know, in the United States where we wait to be seated at the door, over here, not so much. Over here, it's like you kind of go, you know, sit down and they come to you type of thing. Especially if there's not someone right there waiting at the door. From what I heard and from what I've seen so far, you know, you just go sit yourself. Those are some of the little different things that I've noticed over here when it comes to the difference in London, the London experience. Also, when it comes to service, they call it service charge. In the States, we call it tip. A lot of places, for the most part, majority already include that, which is amazing because who has time to try to be figuring out tips and all that stuff? Just include it in there. One thing that I noticed though, the service charge over here, aka tip, is not as much as the state. think over here they're cool with like a 10-15% type of percentage, where obviously in the States, it's like we are up to 18 to 20% now, and it's frowned upon if you give 15 in the States nowadays. But yeah, the London experience has been amazing so far. We still have some more time to go. I was in Oxford Street a little earlier today doing a little shopping. I hit their store called Primark, I think it's called. Is their big box store. It's, I think of H&M in the States. Although H&M technically is also a European line when you really think about it. But yeah, Primark, that's their big thing over here. So I had to go in there and get a few things. It's been cool so far. It's been cool. Definitely a lot of feels. I'm talking about this how London, not only gives you the historic feels because obviously the architecture, the Parliament House and the what look like castles and all that stuff, but then you still have the modernized buildings and tall buildings and all that, so all mixed together. So it gives you like the historic city, but also a modernized city. So it reminds me, I've been saying that it reminds me a little of like the cities, obviously New York, a little bit of Chicago, some parts. But obviously, if you do your history, a lot of the conquistadores and the English came to the United States and quote unquote the stuff covered. But there's not a history lesson and all that stuff, so we're not gonna get into that. But obviously, I can see why in the States we see things, and now being over here, things that remind me of the States, because the European came over and their stuff was very influential into what went into the U.S. architecture and stuff wise. So it's been very interesting, and that's one of the things I love about traveling is because you just get to connect everything from the people to the history and all that. So it's amazing. But it's been a great time. I had to come to you guys and give you guys another episode, a new episode. We are an episode away from our 200th episode in 2 weeks, which I'm very excited about to hit that landmark. Um, but yeah, let's do the show next week. We are back and we're excited. I'll be back with Melanie next week. We're back together. Again, the time difference and such, we couldn't be able to do it together. And plus, she's a busy girl too. She'll be has some travels this week of her own, but we're back together next week. So definitely tune in for that. Thank you guys. Everyone out there that shouted me out for the birthday, whether it was DMs, text message, posting on the wall. It was a lot. I wish I could reach out and say thank you to everyone, but obviously then I'll be not wasting my vacation time, but taking away from my vacation time if I responded to everyone. So everyone out there who reached out for my birthday, sending me birthday love, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys. It means the world. And hey, a free birthday present, what doesn't cost? Follow, like, subscribe, share everything the Inner Circle podcast. You can find us on Apple, iHeart, Google Podcast, Spotify. Follow us on the Instagram, the Inner Circle page on Instagram. We have so much exclusive content there. We post so much exclusive stuff, and you definitely want to be following because I'll definitely be sharing my travel journey and some cool behind the scenes stuff in London. So definitely follow, like, subscribe, all things the Inner Circle podcast. I appreciate you guys. We're back next week, episode 199. Me and Melanie are back like the wet bandits together next week. See you guys next week. Adios.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, everything the Inner Circle podcast, and catch us every Wednesday live at 8 p.m. on YouTube.